Hello and welcome to Mr. Kenyon's studio. In this lesson we're going to be learning about what is a key. This is a lesson that's designed for beginners. So I'll say most musicians should already know what a key is. So if you've heard that term, we're going to play in the key of G or D and you don't exactly understand what that means, well, that's what I'm going to explain to you today. So what you have here in front of us here is just a list of all the different key signatures written down, the different number of sharps and number of flats for each key. So you got G major as one sharp, D major. Okay, that's not really that important right now, but it's just for visual. So what is a key? So when we talk about being in a key, we're talking about a concept known as tonality. Tonality in music is having a tonal center. Okay, so a tone is a note, the sound of a note. Like a C, a G. If you play one key on the piano, so don't get confused between the piano key and the musical key, because those are two different things. Piano key, we're talking about that thing that you press, right? But the musical key is a concept. And so if you play the piano key, the note C, just a single note C, okay, that's the C, the note C that you're playing, the tone C. But the concept of playing in a key means that the tonal center is C. That the whole song and all the harmonies revolve around the note C. Okay, so if you're in the key of C, that means C is the main note. So if you're in the key of D, D is the main note. And not only that, but the chord. So a chord is a series of notes, a combination of notes. The most common type of chord is called a triad. It's 3 notes. We refer to major and minor triads. Those are the most common. So when we say we're in the key of C, we're actually talking about being in the key of C major. Okay? So that means that C major is your main chord. If we're in the key of C minor, that means that C minor is your main chord. So all the chords within that key are going to revolve around that key, around that tone. So in the key of G, well, that means G major. If you just say the letter, it's shorthand for major. If we're in the key of G or G major, then all the chords in the song are going to fit in the key of G. And so that's where you have to learn the chords that fit in the key, which follow the scale. Okay, so if you're in the key of G major, because there's one sharp, you can see here the first one on the left, the upper left corner here, G major, there's one sharp in that key. That sharp is F sharp. So that means if you were to build a chord based on G, you start with G, and you know what, let's do a C major first, since there's no sharps or flats. That's the easiest. If you have a piano keyboard, this is really easy to learn. If you know how to play a C major chord on the piano, it's very easy. It's just C, E, and G, 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so if you put your fingers on the keys, you have your thumb on C and your pinky would be on G, and then the middle finger would be on E. 1, 3, 5. That's a C major triad, or in other words, a C chord. If you move that up, take that same shape and just move it up to D, and now you have D, F, and A. That's the 2 chord. So you're building the chord on the tone in the scale. So you start with C, then you go up to D, and you play chords on each of the notes in the scale. Those are the chords in the key. And so that's where the Roman numerals come in. We say we're going to play the 4 chord or the 5 chord. That's what that refers to. So the 1 chord is your starting chord. That's whatever key you're in, that's the 1 chord. So if you're in the key of G, then G is the 1 chord. If you're in the key of G and you play C, now C is the 4 chord because it's a fourth up from G. G, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on and so forth. So that's just to explain in a real basic sort of way what a key is, the concept of playing in a key, whether it's a major key or a minor key. And then everything fits within that structure and revolves around that main chord. That's, you could say that your one chord, also known as the tonic chord, is the home base. Okay, and you kind of go on a journey through these different chords, through the chord progressions, but it always ends up coming back to your main chord. So the vast majority of music that you hear is tonal, meaning that it's in a key. There's such a thing as music that's not tonal, where there is no definitive key center, but the vast majority of music is tonal. And so if you know music, or if you play music, you need to understand what it means to play in a key. So that's a little intro to keys, musical keys.